I would say, and I think anyone who's not a materialist would have to say, that your mind is your soul. It's one and the same. So the point is, even if a chemical imbalancement could be found, and it hasn't been, but even if it were, there would still be a question about whether that imbalancement is a reflection or a symptom of the spiritual problem rather than itself being the cause of the problem. And even if you don't factor in the human soul, I mean, that's just one of the issues here. Even if you don't factor that in, and even if you did prove this imbalancement theory, still you wouldn't be able to prove that the imbalancement causes whatever disorder, because you couldn't prove that the imbalancement isn't itself caused by, say, environmental factors or life experience or any number of other things. So again, there are these enormous leaps of logic that are being made when we talk about mental illnesses. And we're just allowing the drug companies and doctors to make those leaps. And we're not even questioning them. But even if we were to put all this to the side, even if you were to accept just for a moment that brain chemistry determines everything about a person, and even if we were to accept that there is this chemical imbalancement, and the chemical imbalancement itself does cause, say, ADHD or depression or whatever, that still wouldn't prove that a particular personality, like the ADHD personality, for instance, is disordered. It doesn't prove, in other words, that a person shouldn't be that way. We've decided that kids aren't supposed to be that way. We've decreed it from on high like gods, and then we've set out to chemically eliminate every human disposition that we find inconvenient or difficult, but that is subjective, it's arbitrary, it's not scientific. And again, we do the same thing with adults. We do it with all people. We look at unfavorable characteristics, emotions, and personalities, and we decide that because they are unfavorable, they must therefore be medical. But I don't think that's how medicine works. So we may say, for instance, that somebody has an anxiety disorder. Okay, but who's to say that they shouldn't have anxiety? The anxiety is disordered. Okay, well, what do you mean? What is the proper order for anxiety? Say it's a disorder of anxiety. Okay, well, how is anxiety supposed to work? Or are you saying that there shouldn't be any anxiety at all? How do you determine that? And who determined it? And on what authority? Based on what science? Now, I have a lot of anxiety. It's unpleasant. I don't like it. And no, I don't think that a person should live consumed by anxiety. But neither do I think that anxiety is necessarily a medical condition. And I also think that it hasn't been proven to be a medical condition. It has rather been decided philosophically that it must be a medical condition. And that's a problem. I think it's possible, not just possible, but I think there are many problems that a person can have. Serious problems, difficult, painful problems. That doesn't mean that the problems are medical. It doesn't mean that they're physical at all. There could be other things going wrong. Things in your life, things in your soul. There's any number of other things that could be happening to cause problems for a person. But what we've done is we have eliminated all of those possibilities, and now everything has to just be medical and physical. I'm not saying that mental illnesses don't exist. I'm saying that there are many questions we aren't asking, and we should be. I'm also saying that when analyzing a person's emotional and mental issues, we can't completely disregard things like free will, choice, environment, experience, and the soul. Yet that is exactly what we've done with mental illness. And we've done so on the word of drug companies and psychiatrists who themselves are still pushing debunked theories to explain the problems that they're supposed to be treating. That's what I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying. And maybe these are questions we should think about and try to answer before we continue along this path of turning everything and everyone into a mental disorder. Just a thought.